USA Radio News with Wendy King.
Millions of people are going to break out of isolation, and they'll be able to eat at restaurants and shop at stores very soon. More than half of U.S. states are partially reopening over the next few days. Arkansas is one of them. Governor Asa Hutchinson.
On May 4th, we will lift restrictions on gyms, fitness centers, and indoor athletic facilities so that they can resume operation.
Stay-at-home orders have just expired in Alabama, Maine, Tennessee, and Texas. Restrictions will be lifted in Iowa, North Dakota, and Wyoming on Friday. But California has been having some problems with new hotspots and outbreaks. Governor Gavin Newsom has decided to make beaches off limits once again.
We're going to do a hard close in that part of the state.
This is USA Radio News.
Do you have constipation with belly pain, straining, and bloating that keeps coming back? Take the 5-question gut check to see if it could be more than occasional constipation. It could be irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C. Linzess, or linaclotide, is a prescription medication that treats IBS-C in adults. Linzess is not a laxative. It works differently. Linzess helps relieve belly pain and lets you have more frequent and complete bowel movements.
Individual results may vary. Do not give to children less than 6, and it should not be given to children 6 to less than 18. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling.
Talk to your doctor about whether Linzess is right for you. Go to linzess.com to take the 5-question gut check. That's LINZESS.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
Since the pandemic began, Maryland's governor has become one of the most recognizable governors in America. USA's Chris Barnes explains.
Maryland Matters reports Governor Larry Hogan's been on one or more of the Sunday network TV news shows for 6 of the last 8 weeks, and overall he's made 22 appearances on national programs since the outbreak began. One of his most recent being last night's Daily Show on Comedy Central, hosted by Trevor Noah.
Where does Maryland stand right now?
Unfortunately, we're a little bit behind where New York and some of the other places are, but we're not nearly as bad, but we're still on the rise. We just passed.
It's been fueling speculation that Hogan may be laying the groundwork for an eventual run for U.S. Senate in the future. Some say maybe even the White House. Hogan does chair the National Association of Governors. For USA Radio News, I'm Chris Barnes.
On Wall Street, the Dow is down 288 points. The Nasdaq down 25. You're listening to USA Radio News.
Broadcasting worldwide from the Ashby Real Estate Broadcast Studio. This is HIP Radio Network, Georgetown, your hometown station.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The switch is on. Welcome to Good Morning Georgetown with Rob and Ken. Waking you up in the mornings and getting your day started with the hottest hits, news, and jokes. Get ready. And now here's your hosts, Rob Hip and Ken Covington.
Friday, baby! Not sure what that really means on a coronavirus lockdown, but hey, today things are reopening. Not only here, of course, in Georgetown, but throughout the Lone Star State as Phase 1 kicking off today. We'll talk about that this morning and a lot of other things going on. And then at 7 o'clock this morning, we're going to have head coach Rhonda Farney of Georgetown Lady Eagles basketball on our program. Very excited to chat with her coming up around 7 a.m. But as always, right here on Friday mornings, Climate Control Pros, it's Lee Ortiz. What's going on, my friend? Oh, hold on. I got you mute. Dude, I do that every time. There we go. What's going on?
Go.
What's going on? Hey, man, just living the dream, brother. Living the dream. What's new in your? What's new with you, man? Come on, Lee. Come on.
Oh man, it's I look forward to every Friday morning, just getting ready for the finish up some stuff this week, finish up some punch list items on some projects, and getting ready. And hopefully some restaurants open up. We can actually go and sit down and have a meal somewhere.
I'm putting together a list. Lee Ortiz, our morning co-host on Fridays from Climate Control Pros. When you need an AC Pro, call the pro. No, wait, it's when you say it, Lee. I forget it, dude. I can't say it like
AC Pro, call your bro at Climate Control Pros.
There it is. When you need an AC Pro, call your bro at Climate Control Pros.
There you go.
Love it, man. Love it. It's Lee Ortiz joining us, man. Appreciate. Hey, by the way, Lee put in a new condenser at my house. Do you mind coming and taking it out now, if you don't mind?
Taking it out?
Yeah, if you can just disconnect it all. Because my fiance's running it like 60 degrees and I'm freezing to death overnight. Can you take it out?
It's on you, brother.
He's like,
fix them, you take care of everything else.
He's like, I don't get involved in all that. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. I love you, Bridget. I gotta tell you, Lee, it's working beautifully, man. The house is. I don't think the house has ever cooled down as fast as it has been. I mean, your guy was in and out of here in 2 hours. New condenser outside, new heat pump. And I'm going to tell you, man, my house has never been colder, and it's never cooled down faster. And I appreciate you, Lee. Thank you, man.
Oh, yeah, it was my pleasure. And that's not – I mean, I just saw we're going to be hitting triple digits starting next week, so it's going to be a rodeo.
Yeah, what is up with that, man? It seemed like we're getting quite a bit of rain, which we needed, and then now it's like this morning, man. It's the ADD Texas weather. It follows me. The weather likes to act like I do. It's ADD. 57 degrees this morning, man.
Gorgeous.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and like I said, we're going to be hitting triple digits next week, and the week after that, who knows? We may be back to normal springtime weather. I mean, it's just, I lived here my whole life, and I've always seen ups and downs. You just never know.
Yeah, a little bit of rain back in the forecast. Not until Wednesday and then Thursday. Hey, I'm excited tonight, Lee. First time ever here on Hip Radio Network Georgetown. We're going to be live from Ken's Guitars. As Ken and Jody are playing tonight, and we're going to video that. And then we're going to more than likely live stream it back to the station as well, man. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to being there in person, man, and a little live venue going on tonight.
I'm going to have to go and visit Ken's place when he's able to completely open up. My son plays guitar, and one of I call him my older brother, gave him a guitar probably about 4 years ago, restrung it, cleaned it up, and he plays it all the time.
Yeah, Ken does great work, man. And him and Jody, they play at Gumbo's a lot, but of course all that's been shut down. But that kind of leads into where I'm going is, of course, things slowly going to start to open up here in our area, man. And I'm really still feeling for the salons because they can't open. They're going to be opening in phase 2, hopefully. That's the game plan from what I've heard.
Well, I hope so.
But, man, I just hope that we can get back to having people working and all that stuff because we need it. Governor Abbott just a few days ago announcing the phase 1 of the reopening. I'm reading this from our website, HRN Georgetown. Governor Abbott announcing this was back on the 27th, actually. When was that? That was Monday. God, dude, the day. What happened to this month? What happened to April, Lee?
I woke up this morning not realizing it was already Friday. I mean, it just flew by this week.
What happened to April, though, man?
It's all a fog.
They always say, like, April, what was it? April showers bring May flowers.
Yeah.
But all the flowers came out last month because the weather didn't know what it was going to do, man.
I think the weather had coronavirus.
Governor Abbott on Monday announcing that first phase of the state of Texas' ongoing plan to safely and strategically open Texas while minimizing the spread of COVID-19. Under phase 1, certain services and activities are allowed to open with limited occupancy. The Texas Department of State Health Services, the DSHS, can't ever talk in the morning, issuing minimum standard health protocols for all businesses and individuals to follow. Governor also outlining special guidance for Texans over 65, a detailed, comprehensive mitigation plan for nursing homes in Texas. Governor also announcing on Monday a statewide testing and tracing program developed by the come on, dude. DSHS. Getting frustrated with myself this morning, Lee.
Lack of sleep.
Oh, dude, tell me about it, man. I wanted the strategic plan. The strategic approach. Oh, dude, I'm about to go off the air, Lee. I can't talk. I may have to go off there.
Get some coffee in you.
The strategic approach to opening the state of Texas prioritizes the health and safety of our communities and follows the guidelines laid out by our team of medical experts, Governor Abbott said on Monday. Now, more than ever, Texans must remain committed to safe distancing practices that reduce the spread of COVID-19. We must continue to rely on doctors and data to provide us with the safest strategies to restore Texans' livelihoods. And there's more on there, but look, I want to get to the meat of it. The meat of it is people are like, okay, yada, yada, yada. Okay, what is opening? You go through the 4 paragraphs of a press release. Let's get to the meat of it. It's like when you sit down to eat a good meal, good steak, what do you go for? Let's say that you have steak, you've got mashed potatoes, you've got gravy, maybe some asparagus, maybe some broccoli. What do you maybe even some bread? What do you go for first, Lee, on a plate like that? What do you dive into first?
The steak.
Yeah, exactly. Let's get to the steak. Let's get to the steak of this, man.
Yeah, I mean, everything else is just garnish as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Well, this is just lip service. Now we're at the steak, baby. Here it is.
Yeah, but hey, Rob, I was talking to a few people in Georgetown, restaurant owners, and even starting today, where they can open at 25%. A lot of them are saying no, they're just going to continue doing what they're doing with the curbside service because it's going to be more of a hassle.
Yeah, I think that's what they were saying. I've heard that too, man.
Yeah, so I mean, I get it, but I don't know. We're in a tough spot all the way around.
I'm going to put together a list. Really blessed to have the opportunity now to be the new owner of Hello Georgetown. I'm going to put together a list on hellogeorgetown.com. I actually had someone email me last night.
Yeah, congratulations on that, by the way.
Oh, thanks, man. We're excited about it. I love this community, born and raised here. I love engaging with people, helping promote businesses here in our community. Dude, I don't know what it is this morning, man. I'm like, I think I got the hiccups. I can't talk. Goodness gracious, man. I got so much to do, not just today, but then this weekend. With ADD, it's bad because you just constantly, there's like little fireworks going off in your brain. And even while I'm sitting here talking to you right now, I have like 7 other thoughts going on. How can your brain do that?
What do they call it? Multitasking.
Yeah, it's bad mold. It's definitely not. It's like, I don't know what it is, man. It's just in my head. It's boom, boom, boom. Got 7 other things. Literally, I just counted them. While I was talking to you, I counted 7 other thoughts.
Jeez.
That's like ADD and OC. I don't know, man. We'll get over it today. It's
you
Friday.
Get on some Ritalin?
I don't. It's something, man. It's Friday. Let's talk about the steak. Let's get to the steak of this whole executive order, GA-18. This is today, by the way. All retail stores, restaurants, movie theaters, and malls are permitted to reopen today, May the 1st. These services must limit their capacity to 25% of their listed occupancy. So here's the deal. I was talking to Ken the other day, and the listed occupancy, of course, is what the fire marshal usually in a community states, right? There's a CO. You get it through the city, and the fire marshal comes in. They evaluate. It's a whole bunch of different things they put together for a CO. I've had them at every business I've had here in Georgetown over the years. Like a Ken's Guitars probably has, I would say, an occupancy of, let's say, 60 people. So that's what they go by. So Ken could still have 15 people in his store at once.
Sure.
There's restaurants that I've seen, I'll see a sign, 161. It's funny, it's not like 160 or 170 or 165. It's never rounded up. It's usually like 161.
It's usually an odd number.
So a restaurant could essentially have 40 people. If there's 161 on occupancy, which I've seen that in a lot of restaurants, depending on the size, number of factors, of course, it's actually 40 and a quarter. So what you could do, if there's 40 people, but there's one more waiting to get in, Lee, they could just maybe stick an arm in the door.
Well, 40 and a quarter. How do you know we don't count a baby as the quarter?
You could.
Why not?
You could. Yeah, that's a good point. If they wouldn't allow that, then just stick your arm through the door. They'll pull out a measuring tape. And they'll say, okay, your arm can eat in here today, but the rest of you is going to have to stay outside.
You have to stay out.
The quarter of you. The quarter of you will stay out. So, again, it is retail stores, restaurants, movie theaters. I'm not going to movie theaters, that's for sure. Malls.
Well, I mean, think about it. You have several seats in there. You can skip seats.
Dude, I fall asleep in movies, man. I do, man. I just,
especially with the seats nowadays, they're pretty comfortable.
Yeah, we got a great movie theater here in Georgetown, City Lights. We need to get a movie house and eatery here. Oh, dude, that's my favorite. Have you heard of them?
Yes, I have. It's kind of like the Alamo Draft House kind of mantra.
Yeah, but like better and doesn't smell. Better. I'm just kidding. I've been to the Alamo Draft House, but I went to one of them, bro. They need to Febreze that bad boy. Let's just be honest.
I think it's time to bring back drive-in movie theaters.
Well, there's one opened up in Round Rock, the Starlight Movie Theater. Did you know that?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. When you start placing those things everywhere again. Now the technology is, in the old days as a kid, they used to have those speakers you hang in the window.
Yeah.
Now it's all Bluetooth. You just dial in your radio station and you can listen to it in your car.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Well, there was a friend of mine that was asking, he was considering opening up one, and he was asking me the legalities of low-power FM radio and that kind of stuff. I reached out to a couple folks that I know that have more expertise in that area than I do, and yeah, it's I don't know what he's going to do, man. I don't even know if he's going to open. He was just looking. He's working on a plan. But yeah, today, retail stores, restaurants, movie theaters, malls permitted to reopen, 25% limited occupancy. Within shopping malls, do those still exist? The food court dining areas, play areas, and interactive displays and settings must remain closed. Dude, that's the only reason I go to an indoor shopping mall now, really, is like the food court.
Yeah.
The overpriced
There's always a
food.
Chick-fil-A in there.
The overpriced food court.
Yes.
That's malls are changing, man. I think retail. I've mentioned it here just a while back. I think retail on the commercial side, it's just going to be really tough for a lot of folks, especially in the real estate business on the commercial side, because I think more people have worked at. A lot of people have been working from home now. And there's even businesses who have developed new ideas, of course, to try to stay ahead of things as much as they can. I think what we're going to see happen, Lee, is some companies are just going to go, you know what, I'm going online only now, and I don't really need a brick and mortar anymore.
I think you're going to start to see that more and more. I mean, even before the coronavirus, you can see right off the bat, even at Lakeline Mall, the mall is slowly dying off. Rent is super expensive. People don't go there no more. It's just they're on a borrowed time as far as I can see.
Well, the indoor, there's so much upkeep. In a business, it's called overhead. And in an indoor shopping mall, there is way too much overhead. Lee, you're in the business of heating and cooling. I can only imagine what that electric bill is to heat and cool all of that open space in a mall that doesn't generate revenue.
Exactly.
That's why they have the open air malls like Simon's Wolf Ranch here in Georgetown. They've switched to that concept, these big strip centers, outdoor malls.
Right. That's why the, what's that one mall up there in Round Rock, the Outlet Mall works so well because it's all open.
Museums and libraries may open under the same 25% occupancy limitation, but interactive areas of museums must remain closed. State libraries and museums will open today, and local public museums and libraries may reopen only if permitted by the local government. Single-person offices may reopen as well. Churches and places of worship remain open. I guess that churches have been allowed to stay open if they wanted to, but they've
but just not hold service. Their offices can stay open.
Well, I don't know. It says here, churches and places of worship remain open. I think that I think that they left it up to the churches if they wanted to stay open, and luckily most of them said no. We need to keep people safe.
Yeah.
All right, here's one that I really like. Outdoor sports are allowed to resume so long as no more than 4 participants are playing together at once. A little 2-on-2 football going on, Lee.
No. Hang on a minute. So I've got this little funny deal on that whole 4 person. Since my son plays select baseball, he goes, "Dad, this is stupid." I go, "Well, think about it. You got the pitcher, the catcher, the second baseman, and the center fielder. Now you guys can cover the entire field just down the center.
There you go, man.
So, he wasn't too happy about that. So I was like, well, it is what it is.
Certain social distancing practices must also be followed. Local government operators, including county and municipal government operations related to permitting, recoordination, and document filing services, may reopen as determined by the local government. I'll tell you what, our county clerk was open. I had to go file, of course, with acquiring a new business. Had to go down and abandon a DBA, file a new DBA, all that kind of fun stuff. I always enjoy that, by the way. I always enjoy going down to the basement, down at the courthouse complex, the annex here in Georgia. It's fun. I enjoy it. They have the sheriffs in there that are always working, and the deputies. Oh, yeah. They're always super friendly and nice. Department of Health recommended minimum standard health protocols for all individuals. I'm just trying to read through this. All employees and employers, as well as industry-specific protocols for retailers, retail customers, restaurants. That's where we need to get back to the steak again. See, it's like you go through the soggy gravy, and then you get into a little mashed potatoes. You're getting excited. Then you finally hit that steak, Lee, and you're like, you know what? I'm bored. I'm going to go back to something else now. Now here we go back to like that bad part. The base of the asparagus. It's just not that good. You know what I'm saying, dude?
Yes.
Now we're at the base of the asparagus. Can I please get back? Okay. Now here we go. Essential services. Now we're getting back to the steak, man. Essential services such as farmers and ranchers, groceries and drugstores, banks, gas stations will continue to operate. Public swimming pools, and this is where it's really tough. Public swimming, not particularly the swimming pools, but listen to this. Public swimming pools, bars, gyms, cosmetology salons, I need a haircut, massage establishments, interactive amusement venues such as bowling alleys and video arcades. That's tough for Mel's here in Georgetown. And tattoo and piercing studios will remain closed through phase 1. Nursing homes, state-supported living centers, assisted living facilities, and long-term care facilities must remain closed to visitors unless they provide critical assistance. There's a lot of businesses that fall under this that won't be allowed to open until phase 2. A lot of them. I need to get a haircut, Lee. I'm about to buzz my hair because I'm looking – Brawny Man was handsome. I'm not as handsome as Brawny Man, but I'm looking like Brawny Man, dude.
Yeah, my wife is getting pretty good at using clippers on me.
I may have to, well, she can't cut my, I was going to say I'd pay her to cut my, I can't. That'd break the rules. Break the rules. We're talking to Lee Ortiz this morning, Climate Control Pros, our co-host here on Good Morning Georgetown on Friday. Man, it has been quiet. There's a lot of folks that are joining us, Lee, this morning on the app. I want to encourage you to download that app, Hip Radio Network. There's a lot of folks on Facebook Live, but nobody's chiming in yet this morning, Lee.
Nobody's chiming in yet?
Nobody has commented yet. No, we have a ton of people. Hey, if you're watching this morning on Facebook, say hello to us. We'd love to hear from you this morning. Lee Ortiz is joining us. That's good. Matt Morrow, good morning. Vinny Sharon joining us. Charles Foreman. Sabrina, good morning. The smile of Georgetown. Sabrina's the smile of Georgetown.
He's great.
Ray Vasquez, Frank Miranda, Tom McKay, one of our awesome sponsors here with audio-visual consultations. Deanna Anderson, good morning, Deanna. Santa Phil, what's going on, Santa Phil? Appreciate you. He has sponsored several of our things here on HRN, including our virtual dance party last week, your-santa.com. I always said it's never too early for Santa. Debbie Furtado, Matt Morrow. There we go. Frank saying good morning. Sabrina, Wally. There we go. We just got to make the ask for hello. I just want to make sure y'all are up on a Friday morning. My 4 a.m. Warriors. I don't know where they're at this morning, Lee.
Oh man, I tell you what. Yesterday I was outside most of the day. Yesterday was just a gorgeous day. Just comfortable all the way around.
It's beautiful.
I'm hoping today's going to be the same.
I opened up the door to the studio. Here I'm working from the remote Ashby Real Estate broadcast studio here at my house on the side of the house, and it was so nice yesterday. I have a little window unit in here. I need to get one of those, what do they call them, mini split units?
Yeah, I can help you out with that.
Because the mini splits don't make noise. Like you can put the compressor or whatever it is. What is that thing called? Is it condenser? You can put that outside. It goes outside on those.
It goes outside, yeah.
And I could probably put that like farther away from the building and then run tubing or something so I don't have to, so it's not as loud, right?
Oh, those mini splits, you can put it right next to you. You couldn't hear them. They're so quiet.
See, that's what I need, man, because when this thing, I use this out here as a recording studio also, and when I do voiceovers, I've got to turn the AC off because you'll hear it running in the background.
Yeah, no, when we get to that point, I can definitely hook you up. In fact, Wrench Brewery, I'm helping those guys out. Remember, Alex had reached out to me last week after the show.
Nice.
I'm sorry, not Alex, Andrew.
Yeah, Andrew Rensselaer, yeah.
Yeah, and so he and I were talking and went over and took a look at it. So I was putting some pricing together. I was supposed to get it back to him this morning. But there's some really good pricing going on with mini splits. So,
man, that's awesome. Hey, that's a good testimonial, man. I'm starting to hear now, after a few months of being established, that's the whole point of starting HRN, is to provide news and entertainment, resources to our community, to be a positive voice. We want to be that. I don't want to bring a bunch of negativity to the station. We talk about some things, but I don't like talking about a lot of things that divide people. We want to bring people together here, and it took a few months, but now that folks have been active and people are listening, we had over 4,000 listeners in March. I haven't ran the numbers yet for April. In fact, why don't we do that reveal, man? Why don't I run the numbers? I can do that right here.
Today is May the 1st.
I can run those numbers. I like to wait. And I would, now I got to find it, man. Yeah, here we go. I can run those numbers of our official unique listener count for last month. I'm excited to see what this is, Lee. So I'm running the listener report. That's what's cool about the internet. The internet only, it tracks all this stuff.
Wow.
So we just launched in January. I just said in March of last month, we had over 4,000 unique listeners. I'm looking right now. It just takes a minute here. And I've got to go. I'm going to do the past 30 days. And then I've got to mark out a couple of
7,000.
6,913 unique listeners last month. Man, that is awesome.
Was I close or what?
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Now, a bulk of those may tune in and out. That is the only discrepancy. I'm being transparent. Most of those may tune in and out within the first couple of minutes, but that's still people that are joining us, that are tuning in.
Yeah.
A 15% growth over the last 7 days. And a 2.5% growth over 30 days. I'm not sure how all that's calculated. But, yeah, 6,913 unique listeners. This is crazy, Lee. 809 hours of total listening time. That's pretty cool.
Wow.
And out of that 6,913 listeners, almost 10,000 total sessions. So that's really – and that's important to know, because that means that – you want to have more sessions than you do unique listeners, because that means people are tuning in more than once or multiple times. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I love having statistics like this because of the internet. It's so cool, man. The most popular track in the last 30 days on the station, Rhett Walker, Believer. That's funny. That means the most people were connecting during that song. Those stats are but here's the thing. Here's the least popular tracks. This is the least popular. These means that people are disconnecting when it plays. Benny Blanco, that Benny Blanco, that I don't know what it is. Some hip hop song, because we had the virtual dance party, and we don't play hip hop rap music. At the virtual dance party, I take requests. Now, if we play any of that music, it's always going to be screened to make sure it's the clean version, because some of it, man, you got to watch out.
Oh, yeah.
But we have a lot of people that listen during that virtual dance party. We'll get almost 100 people on Friday nights from 7 to 9. Now, tonight we're doing a live broadcast at Ken's Guitars, and so it'll be kind of a virtual, I don't know how you call it. I guess it'll still be a virtual dance party, but you're going to be dancing to Ken Covington tonight, which will be fun. I'm surprised by this one. When we played We Are Family, we had
by the Pointer Sisters?
Yeah, Sister Sledge, man. A bunch of people disconnected on that song.
Wow, that's surprising. That's an oldie.
Yeah. That's funny. There's that's funny. There was an artist I was playing here, and people were disconnecting on it, man. That's crazy. Anyways, it's really cool to be able to pull those stats. So that's the reveal today, man. Over almost 7,000 people last month. That is cool, man. Well, we appreciate your support. Appreciate everybody who joins us and who listens to this station, man. That is awesome. Lee, other things going on. We'll bring on head coach Rhonda Farney around the 7 a.m. hour. Also, a Georgetown Lady Eagle basketball player going to be joining her as well here on the Zoom conference, and they'll be connecting around 7. We'll bring them on around 7:05. Williamson County, we talked about the 25% capacity. Williamson County businesses preparing to reopen under Phase 1. There is county offices. They're going to continue to operate at a limited capacity. I wanted to talk about these. By the way, if you don't subscribe to the Hello Georgetown newsletter, I highly encourage that. Go to hellogeorgetown.com. Right around the top right, there is a really cool picture of a little dog with goggles on. You know, those aviation goggles that they used to wear back in the day? And you click on that, and you can sign up for the newsletter. I put all this out. We do newsletters every Thursday afternoon, evening. This was a press release that got to us from the county, and I mentioned this yesterday. County offices that are open to the public require everyone to have their temperature taken before entering the building. I had to do that when we went to the county clerk. If a person is found to have a temperature of 100.4 degrees or more, that person will not be allowed in the building. Visitors should also be prepared to fill out information sheet as part of the procedures. We had to do like a tablet, like an iPad, Lee, is what we had to fill out. I don't like filling out the iPads. I would rather handwrite, but I understand, you know?
Yeah.
I'm not big on using technology sometimes, and it's funny because that's the business I was in and what we do here on HRN, which is kind of funny. Face coverings are not mandatory, but they are highly recommended. They'll have hand sanitizer there as well. Williamson County Justice Center will remain open only for required judicial activities. Any person there will have their temperature taken. Current vehicle registrations can be done online at texas.gov once the inspection has been done. I may get pulled over because my registration has been out since January.
Uh-oh.
I should keep doing it and see how long I can go before I get pulled over and get a warning or get a ticket.
You know what? Throw some mud on the windshield, just wipe it off where it's covering the sticker. See how long you go.
Wayne Nero may be joining. Wayne, I'm not going to do that, by the way. I'm going to get it taken care of, Wayne. It's our police chief here. He watches sometimes. I'll get it taken care of, police. But no, we should have a contest, man, here on HRN. How long can I go before now there's going to be a police officer listening. He's going to pull me over, and then the contest is over. I'm going to get that taken care of. I also looked at my driver's license. It's been expired. I didn't even realize that. On my birthday, it expired.
Oh.
Have you been to the new driver's license office? They opened up a new one. I think it's out off Westinghouse Road. They moved it from downtown in Georgetown. Have you been over there yet?
No, I haven't. I was wondering if that was going to happen, but I was fortunate enough this last go-around. I did all mine by mail. I had a good driving record, and so I was able to do it all online and finish it up, and it kind of went pretty smooth for me. I say that, and I got pulled over on Wednesday.
Wow.
So.
You got pulled over on Wednesday? Did you get a ticket?
I did.
What happened? Did you get a ticket?
Heading northbound on Mopac, coming back from a job in Austin, and I couldn't get over. There was police officers on the side. I got pulled over for not slowing down with an officer on the side, which I knew, and I just slowed down a minute. So he pulls me over. The officer, I said, "Well, I've got my insurance in my phone." He goes, "No, I can tell you got it through your sticker." On your registration, they can scan it, and they'll know if you have insurance on the vehicle.
That's cool.
So I hand him my driver's license. He's wearing a mask. I'm wearing a mask. He looks at me. He goes, "We're just asking you to slow down." He hands it back to me. To have a good day. That's all he was doing.
Man.
So,
well, I'm glad you didn't get a ticket, man. That's good.
Yeah, me too.
Two of my buddies right now that are commenting, they work for APD. One of them saying, "Don't do it, Rob. I'm watching you." Thanks a lot, Wally. I'll stay in Georgetown. Frank saying I can wrap around the temp taking if the virus is contagious before symptoms show. Yeah, that's right, man. You got to be careful about all this. Current vehicle registrations, do them online, texas.gov. Property tax information. You can take care of all that. You're going to have that. You can mail your transactions to 904 South Main Street. Williamson County Department of Infrastructure, that's over off Interloop, closed to the public. All county engineers' office and on-site sewage facility businesses will continue to operate during the normal hours of 8 to 5, but will be conducted remotely through email and phone until further notice. The Williamson County Parks and Recreation Department continues to monitor the impacts of COVID-19. They have implemented guidelines to reduce the spread of the virus. While all county parks remain open, there are some changes to be aware of, including the Southwest Williamson County Regional Park and Leander. All sports and pavilion reservations are canceled until May the 31st. 4 tennis courts will open to the public for individual play starting today. Champion Park, that's in Cedar Park. These aren't even in Georgetown. Berry Springs Park. Now, that's a beautiful park. That's
yes,
here in
it
Georgetown. Is. Pavilion and fire ring reservations are canceled until May 31st. Overnight camping is canceled until further notice. The playgrounds at our facilities will remain closed until further notice to limit contamination. The quarry splash pad will also remain closed until a safe opening date can be determined. More information on updates, you can go to wilco.org/park. Commissioners' court meetings, they'll continue to be conducted virtually. However, people wishing to make public comment should attend in person at the historic courthouse, located at there downtown at Main Street, of course. So yeah, that's kind of everything that's going on, man. And I'm going to get more information on Hello Georgetown. I'm going to publish a page or a post, and I'll keep this updated. But if you're a business, if you're a restaurant, you're reopening. I'm going to do a restaurant guide, and this is Karen Soffiker had this idea, and I appreciate her reaching out to me. I wanted to read this again really quick. She said, "Hey guys, can you add a section for businesses open under the new regulations? We are open from 12 to 8 now daily." So I'm going to put together a page, and this page is going to list what businesses are open. I'm talking about open. I'm not talking about like curbside and all that, because I know we'll probably have a lot of those requests. And look, there's already several lists that have those. I mean, we've got it on hrngeorgetown.com, so I don't want to get people confused. But I'm going to tell you this. If you are a business who is now open, your restaurant, I'm talking about if you're open with the 25% capacity, I would like to list that. I think that'd be a good resource, don't you, Lee, for people to know?
Yeah, absolutely. I want to know if Monument Cafe is going to open their doors. I'm having some withdrawals from them.
I'm going to write that down, Lee. There's a lot of work that goes on in the back end, man, to keep all this going. We got to keep up to date. I'm going to tell you, too, if you're out there listening and you know of events and news and information that's going on around Georgetown, let me know. Let us know. Let us know what's going on. The best way to do that is to email it to news@hrngeorgetown.com. That's news@hrngeorgetown.com. And, Lee, I'm still trying to figure out, because, of course, we want to continue to drive traffic to Hip Radio Network with our news, but I also want to continue to drive traffic to Hello Georgetown. And so I'm kind of picking and choosing what articles go where. And that's been a task, trying to figure that out, man. Because there's so much information that I want to share with our community, but then there's information that I want to make sure that we're continuing to share on HRN as well. You know, here's the thing, man. I was thinking, if I would have known that we would have had the ability to obtain this business, to acquire Hello Georgetown back in January, this may not even be called Hip Radio Network. It may have been called Hello Georgetown Radio. You know? It may have been called Hello Georgetown Radio, man. But now it's HRN. And I can't change it because we've already established, and I'm thankful for that, and the HRN brand. And I'm getting my car wrapped on Saturday, man. So I definitely can't. It's already printed.
I saw John doing your wrap on that machine, and Tori Clark made it much. She goes, I don't know why it is, but this looks relaxing. And I was watching, and she's right. I was just kind of mesmerized by that thing.
Yeah, I was. I enjoyed it, man. It's fun. And then so Saturday, I've got to take that in, of course, and get it all taken care of and all that fun stuff.
I'm looking forward to seeing how that looks.
I think it'll be pretty cool. You know, who wraps a Kia? I do.
Yeah. So so is it going to be a full blown wrap or just on the doors, or how's it going to?
It's going to be a full blown, like the entire vehicle is going to be fully wrapped.
So it's going to be your colors, the black and the blue, some white.
Yeah, the entire thing going to be wrapped. And
that's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it's like our logo and all that kind of stuff too, man. So that's what's going to happen. But anyways, man, it is 6:59, Lee. And here in just a few moments, we'll take a break at our 7 a.m. break, and we will bring on our guest. I know that Megan Herron is going to join us. She is a player for Georgetown Lady Eagle basketball. Excited to talk with her. And then, of course, Lady basketball head coach Rhonda Farney. I know Coach Farney, I don't think she's connected just yet. I see Megan in there. But we will bring those ladies on coming up here in just a few minutes. Lee, I'm excited, man. You know, about tonight, we'll have that live concert going on over at Ken's Guitars with Ken and Jody. We'll stream that right here on the HRM platform. We'll stream it on Facebook, and that'll be really exciting. And there's something really cool. If you'd like to help us gain exposure, people will keep emailing me, Lee, asking, what can I do to help? What can I do to help? Then the biggest way that you can help us here at HRN, the biggest way you can help us is when we do our live shows like this, there's a button on there that says Start Watch Party. And if you do that, it'll notify everybody else that you're live watching us. And the only downside is I can't see the watch party comments on your end, but if you tap on the live video comments and you leave them there, then I can see them. But that is one way that you can absolutely help us to gain more exposure, and we really appreciate that as we continue to work hard and serve the Georgetown community here. And keep rocking and rolling, Lee. We'll see, man. It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Well, cool. We're going to step aside. We'll take a break. It is now top of the hour, 7 a.m. right here on KHGTDB. It's Hip Radio Network, Georgetown, Georgetown's hometown station. We'll be back in a few moments as we'll bring on head coach Rhonda Farney, the Georgetown Lady Eagles, and hear from one of her players and the Hoops for Hope that they're working on around town. Really cool program that we want to talk about here this morning. Stay with us, friends. We'll be back here in a few minutes here on Good Morning Georgetown.
USA Radio News with Wendy King.
Millions of people are going to break out of isolation, and they'll be able to eat at restaurants and shop at stores very soon. More than half of U.S. states are partially reopening over the next few days. Arkansas is one of them. Governor Asa Hutchinson.
On May 4th, we will lift restrictions on gyms, fitness centers, and indoor athletic facilities so that they can resume operation.
Stay-at-home orders have just expired in Alabama, Maine, Tennessee, and Texas. Restrictions will be lifted in Iowa, North Dakota, and Wyoming on Friday. But California has been having some problems with new hotspots and outbreaks. Governor Gavin Newsom has decided to make beaches off limits once again.
We're going to do a hard close in that part of the state.
This is USA Radio News.
Do you have constipation with belly pain, straining, and bloating that keeps coming back? Take the 5-question gut check to see if it could be more than occasional constipation. It could be irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C. Linzess, or linaclotide, is a prescription medication that treats IBS-C in adults. Linzess is not a laxative. It works differently. Linzess helps relieve belly pain and lets you have more frequent and complete bowel movements.
Individual results may vary. Do not give to children less than 6, and it should not be given to children 6 to less than 18. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling.
Talk to your doctor about whether Linzess is right for you. Go to linzess.com to take the 5-question gut check. That's LINZESS.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
Since the pandemic began, Maryland's governor has become one of the most recognizable governors in America. USA's Chris Barnes explains.
Maryland Matters reports Governor Larry Hogan's been on one or more of the Sunday network TV news shows for 6 of the last 8 weeks, and overall he's made 22 appearances on national programs since the outbreak began. One of his most recent being last night's Daily Show on Comedy Central, hosted by Trevor Noah.
Where does Maryland stand right now?
Unfortunately, we're a little bit behind where New York and some of the other places are, but we're not nearly as bad, but we're still on the rise. We've just passed.
It's been fueling fueling speculation that Hogan may be laying the groundwork for an eventual run for U.S. Senate in the future. Some say maybe even the White House. Hogan does chair the National Association of Governors. For USA Radio News, I'm Chris Barnes.
On Wall Street, the Dow is down 288 points. The Nasdaq down 25. You're listening to USA Radio News.
Broadcasting worldwide from the Ashby Real Estate Broadcast Studio. This is HIP Radio Network, Georgetown, your hometown station.
Here's your Georgetown forecast from the HIP Radio Network Weather Center. Highs level off around 88 today. Under clear skies, south winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. Lows level off around 66 tonight. Mainly cloudy skies expected. Mainly cloudy skies again tomorrow. High of 89. Temps a bit above average Sunday and Monday with highs from the low 90s to the mid 90s. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist Paul Trombley. Currently, it's 61 degrees.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The switch is on. Welcome to Good Morning Georgetown with Rob and Ken. Waking you up in the mornings and getting your day started with the hottest hits, news, and jokes. Get ready. And now here's your hosts, Rob Hip and Ken Covington.
Time now, 7:06 a.m. Thanks for staying with us this morning. Georgetown here on KGTB. HIP Radio Network, Georgetown, your hometown radio station. And also here on Good Morning Georgetown. I almost said hello, Georgetown. I'm getting confused. But it is a beautiful day winding up here in Central Texas. I hope that all of you are off to a great start here in May. By the way, May is the third and final month of spring, and then we move into that hot, blistering summer here in Central Texas, which I know many of you are excited about that. Probably not. So not as much as Lee Ortiz, though, who's in the HVAC business. He's ready to rock and roll. I know, Lee, you're ready to get up in those attics and all that kind of fun stuff. So, Hey, we are joined this morning someone who is a great friend to me and many, many here in our community and throughout the Lone Star State, someone that I have admired and looked up to a very long time and does such a fantastic job with our community and our kids, especially our Lady Eagle basketball team. I wanted to bring her on, but before I do that, I wanted to mention a program, and I'll lead into this. We're going to be joined by head coach Rhonda Farney. 33 large basketball signs designed by the Georgetown Lady Eagle basketball team have been placed throughout Georgetown. Each team member decorated her own sign with encouraging words and an uplifting message of hope. I saw this around town. I saw the story. I reached out to Coach Farney. I said, I would love to have you on the show, and we are now joined by head coach Rhonda Farney. Good morning, Coach. How are you doing today?
Hey, good morning, Rob. I'm great.
Hey, well, thanks for being here with us. I had reached out. I saw what you guys are doing. Before we dig into that, I know you've been in this area a long time. There's a lot of folks watching this morning and listening on our app as well. But just give a little backstory about you here in Georgetown, if you don't mind. Just, how long have you been here and just what have you been doing over the years? You've done so much incredible work. So just kind of let us know a little bit about you first, Coach.
So, Rob, I have been in the system here for 32 years. I've been teaching and coaching for 45 years. It's hard to imagine, but and actually I've loved every minute of it. I don't ever think about it as ever having to go to work. So it's been a really good gig for a long time. And I just feel very blessed to be in this community, blessed to have a great husband that has encouraged me through the years. So seen a little bit of changes over the years in Georgetown, but I still think it's a great community. And what we've seen from being able to do our little Hoops for Hope tells me that, we're still a small town at heart.
Yeah, well, it's incredible, Coach, and the work that you've done. And it's been a real joy and privilege for me over the past several years since we started SHN to, broadcast the Lady Eagles. That was something very near and dear to me because so many sports, in a way, they're kind of left out. And the Georgetown Lady Eagle basketball program, though, has always been very, very awesome under your leadership, just the work that those girls have done. And, when we started SHN, I said, man, we have got to figure out a way to broadcast these girls and get them some more exposure because of the hard work that they put into the program and what you have taught them over the years. Now, Coach, before we talk about the Hoops for Hope, I wanted to ask you, because I know when I was growing up, I think Georgetown was, it was on the verge of 4A. I think it was 4A. What changes have you seen throughout just, the community as far as the numbers of kids? Because, it goes from a really small school system to what I would consider a pretty large school system now. I mean, were we 3A when you had started? Because I know that it really wasn't that long ago that Georgetown was a 3A school, to be honest.
Well, I'll have to tell you, I go back with Georgetown for a long time. I coached at Goldthwait, and, numbers are all relative because back in the day, actually about 10 years ago, we went to that 6A classification, which, back in the day, 5A was the largest classification. But I coached in Goldthwait, and Tanya Lott was a very dear friend. She coached here in Georgetown. We played each other all the time. Back then, they were 3A. They won a state championship here in 3A. So when there were a few coaches in between, but when I actually took this job, we were 5A. We were the largest classification. We had just gone to the largest classification, but I was really fortunate. For years, we kind of teetered back and forth. And I was here, and then we dropped back down to 4A, and that's kind of where we got started. The third year I was here, we made a great run at the state tournament. So did our boys in basketball, and so those were great years. But we were either the smallest school in 5A or one of the larger schools in 4A.
That's incredible. And just, how the population changes. And then it's so weird because you can literally have, one or two kids move out, and then you drop back down, and then a couple more move in, and you're back up, the next year. And I remember seeing those things happen over the years. Well, we're talking this morning to head coach Rhonda Farney, Georgetown High School Lady Eagles head basketball coach. Coach, before we get into the Hoops for Hope, and Megan Herring is also joining us this morning, a student that you have had the privilege of coaching. And before we talk about Hoops for Hope, just wanted to ask you one more question. And I know you've had so many good memories, but can you kind of highlight maybe some of the greatest moments that you've had so far in your coaching career? And I know you've had a lot of them.
That's a hard question. You've asked me a lot of easy questions, but that one's hard. I would just say that the things that stick out in my mind, it's not so much the years and exactly what the teams have done, but it's just the relationships over the years. I have had just a run of phenomenal head coaches, and they're not just head coaches. They're like family, they're like my best friends. So when I think back over the years, I think about, Kelly Richardson was here with me for 31 years. That's kind of unprecedented. Kristen Curtis was here for 22 years. Doug Hunt was here for 15 years. I mean, I've had a long run of wonderful people that I've worked with over the years. Risa Thomas, Dan George, I can just name a ton. I've got 3 great assistants right now. Katie Youngblood, who's one of our own, played for us. We played for a state championship when she was a junior. And that would, I guess, be the last time that we played when we were 6A. And then Tasha Doherty, that we were able to bring up from our middle school from Forbes. And then we were able to hire Corey Cunningham last year. So when I think back over the years, I think about all the kids. It'd be hard for me to pick out one kid or 1 year, but it's all those relationships with our coaches and with our kids that would have to be the way I'd answer that question.
Yeah, let's say, and when I asked you that question, I knew exactly what you were going to say, Coach, because I've known you for many years, and just how compassionate you are with our community and our kids. And then also, I wanted to talk one last thing. I know I said one last question. This is cool because I don't feel rushed, because usually I get to interview you after a game, and I know you want to talk to the girls, so I'm trying to hurry really quick. In fact, when some of my guys interview you, I'll talk to them afterwards because I know that you're okay with them interviewing you, of course. But I always say, like, hey, man, kind of shorten down the interview a little bit because Coach has to go talk to her girls after the games. So I do have a little chit-chat with my guys every once in a while because we respect your time, of course. But, Coach, the community involvement, I did want to ask you about that before we talk, and that'll kind of segue into this Hoops for Hope. But, you have such incredible community support with the program. I enjoy where we're at when we broadcast because we call it the Nest. We're up in the little Eagles Nest broadcast booth on the visitor side. But there's a lot of folks, especially the Sun City Eagle boosters, that are there supporting your school, your team, and the Georgetown Lady Eagle basketball program. I just wanted to give you a moment just to talk about that and just the community support that has been so tremendous over the years.
Oh, that's another really hard one. I don't want to leave anybody out, but I want to say that we have had phenomenal support. And I think one of the things that makes our program strong is that we continue, after kids graduate, to have parents that are still a big part of our program. Now, I'm not going to tell you that after kids graduate that when they come to a Lady Eagle game, it's the same feeling that they have when they have a child playing, that they support us financially. They support us with their presence. I can tell you, Erica Kovac was a great player that played for us here. Her mom has never missed a year, for supporting us. Same thing with Kat Briggs, another really good player here. Her parents, Jim and Jana Briggs, in the community continue to support us. The Coys, Ted Coy, another guy that you'll always see at our games that's always supporting us. And I could go on and on. David Daniel, he's a graduate of Georgetown High School. I mean, he's probably, one of our dearest friends and fans. So we have great support. And then to flip it over and to say that we have so many friends out at Sun City, and want to give a shout out to them because I know they're feeling all of what's going on right now. And part of our reason for doing the Hoops for Hope was for them and for our community and for, just for all of those people that support us. And it's an opportunity for us to give back. So yes, we have phenomenal support from this community, but, I always think that it's important. One of the things that I think all the time is that it's incumbent upon me to make sure that our players every year understand and are grateful for all of that, and that we don't ever take it for granted. So, that's how I feel about our community. I wouldn't want to live anywhere else. I get up literally every day and thank God that I'm here in this community because it's been a great run.
Yeah, it's been incredible. As we talked to head coach Rhonda Farney this morning, now leading in to the Hoops for Heroes that the Lady Eagles have worked together. And I talked to earlier, there's 33 large basketball signs designed by the Georgetown Lady Eagle basketball team. They've been placed all over Georgetown, each team member decorating her own sign. Coach Farney encouraging everyone, especially families, to drive around Georgetown, practicing social distancing, of course, but to locate the signs and snap a picture of each one and making sure not to give away the location of that sign. I'll bring Megan on here in just a second, Coach, as we're talking here again to head coach Rhonda Farney. Coach, what inspired this idea? I think it's really cool. I've been driving around town. I've been seeing them. I need to start taking pictures and tagging them. I've been seeing them. It's really incredible. What inspired this, Coach?
Oh, it's funny sometimes how my brain works, but so I have two sisters, and I'll just say both of them, Ginger Whitehead, second grade teacher for over 30 years. I have a sister who's been a banker for over 30 years. They're kind of to their community what I think, Bill and I are to this community, very, very involved. And my sister who's in Glen Rose, Ginger, was telling me about this great thing where the Methodist women in their community decorated signs. They decorated Easter eggs and put them out all over town, and it became a phenomenon at Easter. Everybody was looking for those signs. And so I was like, dadgum, I wish I'd thought about that. That would have been such a cool thing for us to have done here in Georgetown. So I kind of had that thought. And then Jennifer Guidry, she was Jennifer Doherty. She's the principal over at McCoy. Got up one morning, saw this cool thing that she was doing with her students where the teachers all decorated their cars and drove to their students. There was a YouTube video on it just to cheer them up and to say hello to them. And so I kind of put both of those things together that was sloshing around in my brain. And I thought how cool it would be to maybe do those signs and let the girls pick out a slogan that would be uplifting. And so I went to my go-to people in this community are Ty and Crystal Gibson at Minuteman Press. They're another couple that means a great deal to us. And I kind of rolled it out with them and said, what do you think? And they were like, we're all in. We'll make your signs. We'll make your stickers. So I got their blessing. And then another person that is really important to me and to our program is Deanne Porfirio. They'll always be, to me, who what their name was when they played for me. It's Deanne Rutledge to everybody else. But she's got two daughters in our program. I ran it by her. She's very creative. She thought it was a great idea, and we just kind of ran with it, Rob.
Awesome. Well, I know I went to Sloshki's the other day. Now, I'm not going to give away the exact location of where near Sloshki's, but I went there and I saw one. And so I think it's really awesome, what you guys are doing to just, I always talk so much, especially on this station. And one of the reasons I founded HRN back in January was because we live in such an incredible community. And we can easily talk about bad things and negative things, but it's so much better. And it really is. It actually is easier. I shouldn't say that it's easy to talk about bad things. but it's so much better to talk about the good and what people are doing instead of things that break people apart. We want to bring people together, and what you guys are doing has just been incredible. We have joining us, and I'll see if I can get her audio here. Megan, do you hear us this morning? Megan Herring is joining us, and I'm not sure. It shows that her microphone. There you are, Megan. Hey, good morning,
Hi,
Megan.
yes.
So you're a
Good morning.
you're a junior, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Well, Coach Farney, when I had reached out to her, she said, "Hey, can I bring one of the players on?" I said, "You better believe that we can have one of you ladies on." And so, Megan, tell us just a little bit about your journey here at Georgetown High School and what it's been like for you to be a Georgetown Lady Eagle basketball player.
So, I came to Georgetown schools as a freshman, and it's just a really fun program, and I've made a lot of close relationships, and it's so much different than any team I've ever been on, and it's really fun, and we have awesome coaches, and it's just a really good experience.
Megan, I know that it's I don't know because I'm not in your shoes, but I know with school and the way things that have been, closed down. Can you talk to us about that and just kind of your thoughts and your feelings on that? I know it's been pretty tough, but how are you doing and what has that been like for you?
It's hard being away from my teammates, and we don't get the same amount of time obviously together, but we still get a lot of time to be on. Surprisingly, it gives us more time to play, and we get that one-on-one because we can text our coaches at any time or call them to help if we need help with the drills or workouts. They send us every day, and we have literally an infinite amount of time to work on anything we like. So it's honestly helping us get ahead of the game, and it's really nice.
We're talking to Megan Herring this morning with Lady Eagle basketball. She's one of the players, a junior at Georgetown High School. Head coach Rhonda Farney also joining us. Megan, I wanted to ask you, as a junior this year, you've been with the program for a little bit, of course. A junior this year, moving on, going to be a senior coming up next year. As a junior, what has really been, kind of your role and who has really kind of led you? I know there's seniors there, of course, that lead you guys. Talk a little bit about that senior leadership, though, and just some things that you have learned so far during your career at Georgetown High School with the Lady Eagles.
Yeah, we had 6 seniors on our team last year, and they were awesome, and it's going to be really hard without them, but we had some great leadership, and all of our seniors really just helped us, and they were always there for us, and we have big shoes to fill. I know that.
Talking about Hoops for Hope, how cool has this opportunity been doing the signs? Talk a little bit about that and just, maybe some words that you've shared.
Yeah, so my sign was talked about our seniors, and it said, "We love you, seniors 2020," because obviously our seniors have been cut short of their senior year and have been missing out on a lot. So we wanted to remind them that we're here for them. And a lot of people's signs were about getting through this because this makes a lot of people down. And then we just wanted to spread love across our community and remind them that this isn't we're going to get through this. Yeah. And it was just a really good experience.
Absolutely. Well, Megan, talking about community, how special has Georgetown been to you?
Oh, I love Georgetown. It's definitely an amazing community, and everyone's so nice around here.
And we're talking here again with Megan Herring this morning. She's a junior at Georgetown High School with the Lady Eagle basketball team. Head coach Rhonda Farney also joining us here on Good Morning Georgetown. Megan, so what are you going to do this summer? I'm curious because I don't know what's all going to open back up, but what are you going to work on this summer? What are you looking forward to, and kind of what are your plans for the summer?
Well, I'm looking forward to getting able to play with my team again, but I'm also looking forward to getting ready for next season and getting ahead of the game for sure.
Awesome. Well, Megan, it's cool when I have students on with SHN. When I interview, I always ask a question. I don't ask it all the time to the coaches, of course, but I always ask the students, who do you want to send a shout out to this morning here on HRN?
I'd like to send a shout out definitely to Sun City and our other coaches who have been really helpful to me and my family for sure.
Awesome. Well, Megan, excited for the season coming up next year. I know as a senior And, you'll always have our support as well as the rest of the team and, of course, the coaches. Appreciate you being with us this morning, Megan, and hang in there. Georgetown is behind all of our students, and things are going to get better, and we're just going to keep on plugging away. So thanks for being here with us this morning, Megan.
For sure. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, Coach Farney, it's always so unique and something that I'm very appreciative of, and just to say thank you, because you always encourage these girls to be active. You encourage them, hey, do interviews and all that, and it's so neat to be able to talk to students such as Megan. How important has that been? Just, it's not just basketball, Coach. There's many other things that you guys teach these girls. Maybe talk a little bit about that this morning.
Rob, there's so many more things than basketball. I mean, basketball is a piece of it, and obviously we care a lot about that. We want to be competitive. We'd like to have a great basketball team, but I never really worry about the wins and losses. I think that when you do things right with kids and you build the right types of relationships, then all of that other stuff it takes care of itself. Megan's a great example of that. She said she came here as a freshman. Well, that's a little bit deceiving. She's a student from Zion. Wow. So she's still been in our community. And that's just a piece that sometimes we don't often talk about. We talk about our feeder schools. We've got great coaches over at both of our middle schools, Forbes and Benold. But, we get great kids every year from Zion. And so Megan's a great example of that. But I don't know. I just have always thought I'm a small town girl, that I'm from Lomita, Texas, and I got a chance to do everything when I was growing up. And, I think that made me a better, more well-rounded person. And I want our kids to be good basketball players, but and encourage them to do other things. And that's one of the things going on right now. Our kids actually, it sounds strange, but they have a little bit more time to think about some things and doing some things that they probably never thought about or done before. We've encouraged them to think about hobbies. Obviously they've got to spend time doing their schoolwork. They're all doing distance learning, and that's first and foremost. But after that, we give them a workout every day. They're working on their individual skills. There's not anything team-wise. We can do 1 hour of skills a day. And they have really taken that, and they feel like, Megan alluded to this, we were all on a Google chat yesterday, the whole team, and they alluded to the fact that they're getting to spend more time honing their individual skills. So when we all get back together, we'll be able to do, team things. But this Hoops for Hope is just another example of, things that we would like for them to be involved in, building that center of, being a grateful person and looking around and seeing that, we don't do anything in isolation. Another thing that you'd asked me earlier about where this kind of was born, where it got hatched. We just work. We go to school and work for a great school district, and they have encouraged us to collaborate. And when they first started talking about that collaboration and isolation, I'm like, wow, that's going to be a trick. But we've really looked at creative ways to do that. And I would have never thought that we could organize this project, because it was a big one. Organize it, in isolation. And when I say that, I mean not being able to actually see each other face to face. And, maybe there's some things I would have done differently now, thinking about some of the things that we worked through. But the kids were great. And they were so anxious to do something that was different, that would occupy their time in a different way than what, because, they're kids, they're typical kids. They get bored easily. So this was kind of a novel thing. But I just feel like as coaches, we have to always be stretching our students, ourselves, and stretching our students, and always, look into ways that outside of ourselves, because it's easy when you play a team sport or when you do anything and spend the amount of time that we do, it's easy to get tunnel visioned, and it's easy to, just think about yourselves and just think about what you're doing. So we like to always look outside ourselves and see what we can accomplish other than just things on the basketball court.
Absolutely. I think there's so many life. That's why I love sports so much, is because it's funny because we talk about sports, but then it's like, it's so much more than sports. It's the life lessons that you learn, and you hear of so many kids as they grow up and they mature and then they go into college, and then after they graduate, they commonly reference going back to when they played basketball or back to when they played a certain sport. and that has just been, tremendous hearing those stories. And that's what's really cool. You've seen stories over the years, and now me as broadcasting over the past 6 years now for Georgetown. At first I didn't have any stories because we had just started, and now that we've been doing it for 6 years, seeing some of these young ladies grow up and seeing the great things that they're doing, and some of the young men in the football programs, which has been incredible. Lee Ortiz joins us as our morning co-host. I wanted to give Lee an opportunity if he has any questions for you as well. And Lee, let me pull you back on here and unmute you. Lee, do you have any questions for head coach Farney? Lee works with Climate. He owns a business, Coach Farney, called Climate Control Pros. He is my morning co-host on Fridays here on HRN. Got you on, Lee.
Good morning, Coach and Megan. Thanks for y'all's time this morning. One of the things that having coaches throughout my lifetime, and even seeing my son play sports, one of the things that I've always noticed with the quality coaches, and I see that with the way you've interacted with Megan and what you guys do, is to lose gracefully but to win humbly. And lessons that are built around those sports helps people go on to be better leaders in their community. And thank you for that.
Well, I think that's so important, Lee. I couldn't agree with you more. There are so many opportunities that we have. I guess the reason I love high school sports is that it gives kids an opportunity to put a lot of time and energy, into one endeavor to help to shape kids and motivate them to play for a common goal. And in this day and age, when everybody's thinking about themselves, that's a daunting task sometimes, but I think it's very, very important. I love sports because it gives kids an opportunity to be put under pressure because they really care about what they're doing, because they've invested, their time and energy in it. And so, when you set up that dynamic, then as a coach, we have to figure out, there's obviously going to be times that we're going to win on the scoreboard and we're going to lose. And you've got to figure out the dynamics both ways. You've got to figure out if you win more than you lose, then, how do you, like you said, create that humble atmosphere in your program where kids, are hungry and they want to continue to win. And then on the flip side, if you don't win as many, then you've got to deal with a disappointment. And how do you deal with disappointment in a productive way? So I think there's so many opportunities for us to lead the kids.
Absolutely. Great job with everything you guys do over there.
Thank you.
Once again, we're talking to head coach Rhonda Farney this morning of Lady Eagles basketball. A few more minutes here, Coach. The hoops, Hope for Hoops, just an awesome idea. We're seeing those around town. I want to ask you, Coach. You guys do so much for the community. I know that folks help you out. There may be someone out there listening this morning or watching this morning on the Facebook live stream as well, and they may say, "Man, what can I do to get involved? How can I help out?" Coach, is there any needs that you guys have right now, and how can folks continue to support Lady Eagle basketball and these kids?
Well, it's going to be interesting, Rob. I don't know how things are going to shake out. We always are very dependent upon our community for things that, for financial support. I don't really know how that's going to play out. I think right now, rather than thinking about how people can help us, we're really trying to think about how we can help others. I think, to me right now, that's been, probably the big thing. I'm going to tell you, the kids are getting tremendous support right now from our school district. I want you to know that it's incredible. I love to work for Dr. Brett. I love to work for our athletic director, Jason Dean. And then I have to tell you that we have got a gem and a principal at Georgetown High School in Brian Johnson. I don't know if you've really gotten a chance to know him, but if you haven't, then you need to, because, right now they're doing such a great job, I think, with our seniors and with all of our kids in, just helping them to work through these things. So, I would say that keep doing what you're doing. I love all the opportunities. I'm amazed at you, Rob. And I'm just amazed at your energy. I think you probably started your day yesterday at about 4 a.m. and you were texting me a link to do this at probably 11 o'clock last night. So I'm amazed at just what you do. And if I had to say anything, I would say, to you, to the Williamson County Sun, to all of the entities here in Georgetown that make Georgetown so special. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep telling the good stories and the positive things about this community. Our kids need to hear that. They need to know what a special place this is. One thing that I remind kids all the time, especially those that grow up here and that, have always been in Georgetown, they don't realize how lucky they are. They don't realize. They think it's like this everywhere, and it's not. Mm-hmm. Georgetown is a very, very unique place, and it's a great place to work and a great place to raise kids. And we have the best school system, I think, in the state. So if I had to say anything, I would say y'all keep doing what you're doing, and that makes our jobs a lot easier.
Awesome. Well, Coach, as always, just appreciate your time. It's nice to have an extended interview, like I said, because it's always so rushed. I feel like we got to let Coach go, and so I appreciate you spending time with us this morning. One final time, folks can get involved with the Hoops for Hope. All they got to do is drive around. It's 33 signs, right, Coach? 33 of them. We're not going to tell you where they are.
Yes, Rob, I have to tell you that it's been really cool. I mean, we've got a couple of families in the community and a couple of our basketball girls. I mean, they're neck and neck. I mean, we've got some of them that have found 29 out of the 33 signs. I think right now maybe someone's found, I think 29 out of the 33 is the most that anyone's found. But
wow.
Somebody I saw on Facebook yesterday. So it's really become kind of a phenomenon. People are out there looking. I get something all the time. I got something from Kristen Thompson, who's our tech at the high school. And, she was buying food after a really, tough day. And she said she looked up and saw one of the signs and just was reminded, about the good things. And that's exactly what we were hoping this would do.
Well, I saw the hashtag. I wanted to make sure that it was correct. It's Hope for Hoops. Is that correct? Hashtag Hope for Hoops, I think is what I saw on the article.
Hoops for Hope.
Hoops for Hope.
Hoops for Hope.
Oh, man, I need to – okay, I'll change that on the article. I wanted to make sure. So it's Hoops for Hope. Okay, gotcha. Yes. I want to make sure that we get that right. So, man, there may have been people tagging that already because I put it on our Hello Georgetown. So it's Hoops and then the word for and then Hope. So I just updated. Man, I feel bad because, Coach, that went out to about 4,000 people last night when I put out the newsletter. We have about 17,000 followers on Hello Georgetown. So if you put the wrong hashtag, that's okay. Just flip it and let us know. Well, Coach, as always, appreciate your time. Thank you for the kind words, and we sincerely appreciate all that you do in our community. And, man, I can't wait to get back to broadcasting, not just football, but basketball and just keep the things going here in our community for our kids. Coach, thank you so much for all that you do. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Rob.
Awesome. Well, once again, that was head coach Rhonda Farney joining us this morning right here on Good Morning Georgetown. We appreciate her time and just having Megan on as well. It's been incredible, and we will keep things rocking and rolling right here this morning. For now, though, we're going to step aside. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll be joined again by Lee Ortiz of Climate Control Pros. We'll take a quick 30-second, maybe a minute break or so. Stay with us, friends. This is Good Morning Georgetown right here on Hip Radio Network Georgetown. It's Georgetown's hometown station.
Here's your Georgetown forecast from the Hip Radio Network Weather Center. Highs level off around 88 today. Under clear skies, south winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. Lows level off around 66 tonight. Mainly cloudy skies expected. Mainly cloudy skies again tomorrow. High of 89. Temps a bit above average Sunday and Monday with highs from the low 90s to the mid 90s. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist Paul Trombley. Currently, it's 61 degrees.
Broadcasting worldwide from the Ashby Real Estate Broadcast Studio. This is Hip Radio Network, Georgetown, your hometown station.
That's all you can do when you hear this, Lee. You just have to then you got to kind of roll a little bit harder. I don't know. It's just a fun morning, Lee. Lee Ortiz, Climate Control Pros. We need an AC Pro. Call your bro. Call your bro, baby. Climate Control Pros. Lee Ortiz joined us. Good morning, Lee, man. What a fun morning. Talking to head coach Rhonda Farney there at Georgetown High School and just hearing the work that she is doing with our kids and then also hearing from one of the players, Megan Herring there, pretty awesome, Lee, to hear that this morning. I just admire coaches. I admire all that they do. Teachers, educators, they have made some of the biggest impacts on my life, man.
Oh, same here. It was good listening from Megan. I always like getting the perspective from somebody that's actually in the middle of what they're dealing with.
I want to tell you, Lee, that I'm always amazed in our community, and we talk to kids from Eastview as well. I don't want to leave Eastview out because we talk to kids at Eastview. We talk to some of the coaches there, and we really, this year really trying. I was really discouraged about this whole COVID-19, Lee, because we have such amazing kids at Eastview as well. I don't ever want them to feel like they're left out because they're not. We have such amazing kids and educators and teachers there at our high school here in Georgetown at Eastview as well, and I was so excited, man. And Wally Harmon will say the same thing. I know that he will. We were to broadcast Eastview softball this year. And
that would have been cool.
And we got through one game. And literally on our network, that's all we got through was that game. And then we did one Rouse baseball game. We went to a Georgetown game. So excited about the new facility there. But, man, my heart just breaks because – we had an opportunity, not because of us, but we had an opportunity to really bring some exposure to that Eastview Patriots softball team. I'm going to tell you, Lee, that team was poised. They probably would have made a run at state this year at Eastview, the Lady Patriots softball.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I'll tell you what, baseball, I just love baseball. I love everything about it.
It's just tough, man, for a lot of these kiddos, and, definitely keeping them in our prayers, keeping our school kids in our prayers, and all that comes with that, man. Well, Lee, today, speaking of school, you know what today is, by the way?
May the 1st?
It is. It's the third and final month of spring, although here in central Texas, it feels like summer, no matter what. I mean, we've already had some mid-90 days. Dude, my AC went out in my Kia, man. I don't have an AC in my Kia. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. I can't help you there, brother, but I'm sure we can find somewhere for you.
I have no idea. I have no idea, But you know what, dude? The good news is you always go back. History repeats itself. You always go old school. I've got my 260, baby. You know what I'm talking about? My 260.
That's what I'm talking about. Never fails.
Got my 260. It depends on, it depends on what day it is. Sometimes it may only run at a 255. Now, here's the thing. If I'm driving down Williams Drive, that thing it's only about a 220, 230.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's getting a little blocked up along Williams Drive lately.
Friends, if you don't know what you're like, what is he talking about this morning? You got to go old school with me. You got to think back in the day. You remember the wing mirrors on the old pickup trucks, on the old Chevy pickup trucks, the wing mirrors, and they designed those for that reason, where you turn out those wings, and then that is your air conditioning. That's your
Ford
AC.
had them too.
Oh, dude, I miss those, man. I just had a flashback thinking of my dad. He had an old Chevrolet pickup truck that had the wing windows, man, and you open those babies up.
I had a 1969 Ford F100 in high school, and that's what I had.
The old I had an 89 F100. No, it was an F150. My dad had an F100. It was an 84 F100. Those were fairly rare, to be honest. And the ones in the 80s, that model was.
Yeah,
they didn't make
early 80s when they started to do away with the F100s.
Yeah,
you're right.
And I remember my dad had some issues, and this was like they could not find the parts for it. And this was when the internet just became a thing. And I remember his mechanic was like, "Well, I got on something called the internet." I remember him saying that. I got on something called the internet. And he goes,
wow.
and I found your part on this internet thing. Isn't that cool, man?
That is cool.
Yeah, it's just really neat, man. Well, today, National Day of, I don't know how I got way away from that, National Principals Day today. How cool is that? National School Principals Day today.
Wow.
NationalDayCalendar.com. Always make sure that I give them the shout-out because I read from them. Throughout the school year, these educators assume the commitment to lead our young people to a prosperous future. They support and guide quality teachers and staff, resulting in productive learning environments for our children. Whether they lead an elementary, middle, or high school, a principal shows leadership skills while being approachable. Many students see their principals as role models. I know, to this day, Lee Ortiz, come and control pros, baby. I still think about my principals. I think about one of the most influential principals that Georgetown ever had, at least when I was in the school system. There's two of them right away that come to mind. Jack Frost, who has done so much for this community. He's in his 90s. He lives in California, still comes down here every year to do the Jack Frost basketball tournament. And Mr. Frost is getting into his mid-90s now, and he is still climbing all the way to the top of the bleachers, doing things, with interviews and things like that. Just phenomenal.
Wow.
In fact, he asked to interview me, and I said, I interviewed him, and then he goes, well, I want to interview you. And I was very humble. I said, Mr. Frost, this is about you, man. You don't need to interview me. And that was that was really awesome. He is such an amazing person in our community. He was the principal, and then he was our superintendent here at Georgetown for many years. I think of another principal, though, that had a huge impact in our community, Dr. Joanne Ford. She was my principal in 6th grade. Dr. Ford loved kids. She truly loved kids. She loved her job. She was an amazing lady, Dr. Joanne Ford. She passed away.
When you have educators like that, it's just amazing.
She passed away several years ago, but she's just she was a tremendous asset and has left behind such a solid foundation and legacy. And then, Lee, I'm going to tell you right now, I go back and I think about my junior high principal, Mr. Carlos Cantu, and I still talk to Mr. Cantu every once in a while. It's so cool. Like, you get older and you're like, that guy was my principal, You kind of smile.
Well, I graduated from Leander High School, and at the time, you may have heard of him, Charlie Rouse High School.
Yeah.
And so Mr. Rouse was just a phenomenal principal and role model and all the way around. And, of course, one of the assistant principals, looking back at during the time, you think, man, this guy is just mean. He's just grumpy all the time. But thinking back now, he was just more of a disciplinary. And that was Mr. Lott, Chester Lott. He was pretty good too. So
I'm just trying to keep you in line, Lee, is what it is, man.
I was one of the ones always breaking the rules, man.
Rowdy Lee back in the day is what it was.
Yeah, I had my time.
Well, it's just, it's incredible thinking about all these educators. I've mentioned my librarian on this show before in 9th grade, Robin Morrow, and her assistant, Linda Spruill. I remember those ladies distinctively. The other day, this lady pops up on my friend you may know, and it's Lisa Wright. But that was my English teacher. I was like, that's cool. My junior high English teacher. I was like, how cool is that? I can probably name 20 teachers easily. Debbie Struby was my 3rd grade. No, that was Peggy. Well, Peggy Radford was my 3rd. That's another one. Miss Radford, she popped up on my friends list the other day. And I added her as a friend. I was like, oh, my goodness, that was either my 3rd or 4th grade teacher. I think she was my 4th grade. Debbie Struby was 3rd or 4th. I can't remember. That is so crazy, though. But I remember the teachers. I'm going to tell you one that really breaks my heart, Lee. I had an English teacher. I won't say her name. I know her name easily. I've got it right on my head right now, in fact. But I did work for her. They called me. He called me, her husband. And I asked him, I said, is your wife, this name? And he goes, yes, it is. And he goes, I just want you to know, though, that when you come over, because she made an impact on me in 6th grade. She was my 6th grade kind of homeroom English teacher.
Uh-huh.
And that was the weird year because in 6th grade, you kind of had a homeroom teacher, but you moved around to different teachers. That was like when that all first started. Because up until 5th grade, you only had one teacher. And then after that, you started bouncing around.
Yeah.
He goes, I'm going to tell you, Rob. And I didn't know who he was. And we started chatting. And I went over to fix his computer. And he goes, I'm going to tell you, Rob, when you come over here, he goes, my wife's probably not going to remember you or know who you are. And she did not know who I was. And she is suffering, I believe it was from Alzheimer's.
Oh, my goodness.
And she was in either that or dementia. I never asked him, but I knew it was either Alzheimer's or dementia. And it was just incredibly sad because she made such a huge impact on my life. And when he told me that, I knew not to bring up things about me being in her class. But she told me, Lee, she did chat with me. And she goes, Rob, I used to be a teacher. I used to be a teacher. And she goes, I just don't remember what grade, but I was a teacher. And she goes, I love kids. It just broke my heart, but it's just such a sweet lady, man.
That's the most horrible disease out there because it robs memories. You know, it really does. Some of my favorite educators, I've lost some of my best educators that I had. Mr. Graffinino, he was my junior English teacher, and he passed away my senior year, battling cancer. I mean, it's amazing that the impact that these educators leave on our lives, you know, especially the quality ones. Mark White, my sophomore English teacher, he was an amazing guy. It was kind of neat because Mark White was my sophomore English teacher, and at the same time, we had a Governor Mark White.
That is pretty cool, man. Governor Mark White, and then you had a Mark White English teacher. How cool is that, man? It's just I want people to encourage. Listen, this morning we're just reminiscing. This morning, I have kind of a format and where we're going to go with the show, but I'm going to tell everybody out there that's listening or watching on Facebook right now, when you tune into this show, you're going to hear You're going to hear a variety. You're going to hear stories. You're going to hear from people in our community. You're just going to hear our thoughts. But I bring these thoughts up because I don't want you to forget the things and the people that have made such tremendous impacts in your life. I want that to be today's message, is I want you to think about maybe just one person. Maybe it's multiple people, but for sure think of one person at least that has made a tremendous impact on your life. Now, that person may not be here anymore. It may be your mom. It may be your dad. It could be your grandma or your grandpa. That person may not be here anymore. If that person's not here anymore, I want you to think of the next person that is here right now. And maybe there isn't one. But if there is, I want you to think about that person that has made a tremendous impact on your life. And sometime today, I'd like for you to pick up the phone and call that person and tell them the impact that they made on your life. I'm going to tell you, friends, we don't think about those things a lot. I think about it, but I don't act upon it, I guess is what I'm saying. We need to have gratitude, and I know that many of you do. But I just encourage you today.
Person in your life.
In my life?
Yeah.
I've got many of them. My dad made a huge impact on my life. My dad taught me the importance of, number one, honoring and loving God. But he taught me also, Lee, the importance of being respectful and being real with people. And there's a lot of things my dad he'll be the first to admit, there's a lot of things that my dad missed on. There's a lot of things that I'm sure that he wishes he could go back and say, man, I wish I wouldn't have said that or did this. And there's things that have happened. But I'm going to tell you right now, and that's everybody's life, though. That's everybody's life, Lee. We all have things that we wish, man, maybe I wish I would have done that differently. But I'm going to tell you what, through every single thing, I love my dad tremendously. And he taught me the importance of life lessons that I don't think get taught enough today. And it's the basic things of life. To me, and what he taught me, one, honoring God, two, being respectful to people. And I remember when I had Click, man, I'd go to people's houses, Lee, and they would always say, I bet your daddy taught you that. Or I bet your daddy was in the military. Or this. I said, well, yeah, he was. And yeah, he did teach me that. And so if I could think of one person that made the biggest impact on my life, it'd be my dad, man. It truly would be my dad, because he taught me the importance of all those really core things that have set me up to be the man and the person that I am today. There's a lot of things I need to work on, Lee, but I'm going to tell you that's the one person right there. And I have more, but that is the top person that has made the biggest impact on my life.
I think for me, it's also my dad. My dad also taught me a lot, but I think even more so too, the one person that really is always makes me a better person is my wife.
Yeah.
She's one that always makes me a better person. If not, I'm just a train wreck without her.
Yeah. It's funny you said that, and I was going to mention Bridget in my life. We've been together 7 years, hopefully getting married next year. I've been engaged for over a year. Bridget has encouraged me to be a better person. You know, she has encouraged me to really work hard and to understand the importance of family. Because I didn't grow up in a really big family. She did, man. With Easter, man, they have like 80 people at her house. You got to buy tickets. You got to buy tickets basically to their Easter party. You know, but I'm just kidding. You know, but I mean, a lot of people, and I love that. I love that family connection. Bridget has made a huge impact on my life. I'm gonna tell you somebody else that has made an incredible impact on my life, Lee. And I got to mention this because I would not be where I'm at today without this person, I always say on the show we wouldn't be where we're at because of somebody else. I would not be here, right here, sitting here today without this person, because this person inspired me and believed in me when I was young, this scrawny 110-pound kid with hair that was balled up into a fro, and it was about 2 feet long when you pull, because my hair is really curly, man. And you would pull, and when you're in high school and you have a girlfriend that wants you to grow your hair out, you grow your hair out, right?
Yeah.
Except mine didn't grow out; it poofed up. I got pictures of it. I'll have to share them some. It's hilarious, man. And to this day, my hair will do that if it keeps growing. But the person, he believed in me. He saw something in me that I had no clue I had. He knew that I would have an opportunity to be in business. It's David Wolf, the Wolf family here in Georgetown. I grew up in church with Miss Wolf, Betty Wolf, at Main Street Baptist, used to be First Baptist. I met Brian Jameson, who has also made a huge impact. He's another person. I mean, I could name 20 people. Without Brian, I would have never met David. Brian Jameson's an Allstate insurance agent here in Georgetown who, to this day, we don't talk a whole lot like we used to. He's married, 2 kiddos. You know, you get busy when you get older, but he's still a brother to me. Even though I knew Miss Wolf through church, he introduced me to David. I did a website for David. David said, I really like this. I'd like to invest in you. And David Wolf helped me get started when I was very young, and that eventually led into Click Computers, which I had for 14 years. And David believed in me and gave me an opportunity to set me up to be successful. And
that's awesome.
I am forever grateful to David because of him believing in me, Lee. And you don't come across people like that every day. You really don't. We're talking.
That's a lot of faith in humanity, and that's awesome.
It's huge, and I wanted to share that with you because, you know, that person, and this is somebody, Lee, that I didn't grow up with. I didn't know Mr. Wolf before Brian had connected me. I had no clue who he was, other than I knew his mom really well through church. But David, I don't know what it was, man. It just sparked something in me that said, you know what? There's a lot of really good people out there, and one day I want to be able to do for others what David did for me. And
isn't that the whole goal?
Man,
is to pay it forward?
It's exactly what it is. And,
yeah,
you know, and I still talk to David once every few months to this day, and every great once in a while we'll go have something to eat together, you know, lunch, and we'll catch up. And he's done really well with his real estate development business and the things that he's done. But I'm going to tell you, man, that guy has made – I am forever in debt and forever grateful and thankful to the Lord for meeting David Wolf.
Person that's kind of similar in my life that you're talking about right there is I called him my older brother. His name's Sean Cockrell, and he's always believed in me. He paid for me when I as an employee as his. He paid for me to go back to school and really hone my skills and to get my master's license. And I just love him to death. He's just him and his wife, and it's just always doing something for others to better others, you know, because it's paying it forward.
I think every step of the way in life, Lee, we go back and we think about people who've made an impact. You know, in the broadcasting journey for me, it was Bill Schoening, the voice of the San Antonio Spurs. I met Bill one night in Round Rock. And I just saw him. I said, man, that's the voice of the Spurs. I went up and talked. A guy here in Georgetown named Chris. He goes, hey, that's Bill Schoening. You ought to go talk to him. I didn't want to talk. I didn't want to bug the guy. Turns out he was like super humble and incredibly nice. Here's my card. Here's my number. Call me if you ever need anything. Well, I did call him a month later. We met up and had lunch, and he taught me a lot of things about the broadcasting industry. And that's another. Awesome. It's another person, you know, and it's just so incredible, especially at that level, because you think about somebody who's a professional broadcaster he used to be the voice of the Longhorns. Craig Way was his color analyst, and that's how Craig became the voice of the Longhorns, because Bill got called to the NBA. And,
oh, wow.
And Bill has taught me a lot of things, and he has believed in me, and I've developed a very sincere friendship with his son, who is also my business partner in SHN Sports, Carl Schoening. I'm thankful for Carl. You know, Carl, that's where the S comes from in Schoening Hip Network, SHN. And I'm thankful for Carl because we've developed an incredible friendship, and he motivates me. In fact, we were talking last night. We're getting ready to launch some new stuff. And you meet these people throughout your journey, Lee, and you can never, ever, ever forget the good things that they have done. because there is so much good in this world. And that's really my encouragement this morning to anybody out there. I really want you to think about people in your life that have made an impact. And if they are still here on this earth, get on the phone and call them, and you tell them today how much you appreciate them, and I guarantee that they are going to be overwhelmed if they haven't heard, not overwhelmed, but they are going to be ecstatic if they haven't heard from you in a long time. Call them today and tell them, say, you don't know how much you've meant to me. That's my word today, Lee. Every day, brother, it may take till the end of the show to come up with the word like it did today. Baby! But we came up with it, man.
There you go.
Well, Lee,
I think one last group is probably my 3 boys. They're also the most, I love hearing life's perspective through their eyes. And that's always refreshing.
That is cool, man. I'm sitting here thinking, because I don't want to leave people out. My mom, I love my mama. Oh, man, mamas are the best. My mom is the best. My grandma, my grandpa, that my grandma's still here, thank God, but she's in her 90s. The rest of my grandparents are no longer with us. We went through a 7-year, just heartbreaking 7 years where we lost, I think, about 13 people in our family, Lee. 13 people in our family passed away in 7 years, and 4 of those were my grandparents. My great-grandma on my mom's side, my grandma and grandpa on my dad's side, and then my grandpa on my mom's side. I mean, we lost, and then cousins, aunts, uncles, great-aunts, great-uncles. There's about 13 people in our family that passed away in 7 years, and it was just tough, man.
Wow. I just lost my sister-in-law. She passed away on last Sunday.
Man, I'm sorry.
Thank you. She's just, she's finally at rest. She was dealing with lots and lots of years of just chronic illness, and she's finally at peace.
That's why it's so important, Lee, that we got to tell people that we appreciate them. We never know. We never know. I want to encourage you today to do that. Get on the phone. Call somebody who has made an impact in your life. As far as friends who've made an impact on my life, one of them is Joshua Harris, the Oak Ridge Society. And Josh, I'm not just saying this. Josh has made it incredible. You'll hear Josh on this show every Tuesday. The Oak Ridge Disciple House is a faith-based Christian character building ministry, 501c3 nonprofit helping men 18 and older that suffer from drug and alcohol addiction. If you or someone you know needs help, there's light at the end of the tunnel. That light can be found through the Oak Ridge Disciple House. Please support them and check them out online at oakridgedisciplehouse.com. Josh has made an incredible impact on my life, and look, he sponsors this show. I'm transparent, but that's not why he's made an impact. He was helping me with stuff before he ever sponsored this show. And I don't even know how we met I guess somehow on the internet years ago. And Josh has become a very close and dear friend of mine. You talk about somebody real quickly. I know we're over 8 o'clock. We'll go just another minute or two. On social media, we'll always say, hey, I'm praying for you. Mm-hmm. This dude straight up will pray. He will right then will pray for you. If you ask Josh, hey, man, I really need a prayer, he's like, what is it? And instead of him saying, okay, well, I'll pray for you, he'll drop what he's doing right there and pray for you, man. So you better be on your toes.
Prayer warrior right there.
Yeah, for sure, man. That's what it is. And, you talk about other friends, and I see him chiming in here, and I'm grateful to John. John Montgomery's helped me in so many ways. And now,
oh yeah, same here. I mean, John is just an awesome guy, a great business partner, just a real strong member of the community that's always trying to help somebody.
A lot of great folks. Well, Lee, before we go, any final comments, man? It's 8:03. We got to get rolling, man. Any final words before we let you go,
brother? Let's keep the shade on, turn the AC down, and give me a call if you need something.
That's right. Call Lee over Climate Control Pros. When you need that AC Pro, you better call yo bro at Climate Control Pros.
That's it.
Well, Lee, thank you, man, for being here. I always look forward to this. I love having a different co-host every morning because, we get to share different stories, and I'm so thankful for your friendship, Lee. I met you through John, and I'm very thankful for you and just to get to know you, man. I've developed a friendship with you, and I appreciate all that you do in our community, man. And let's continue to rock and roll, brother. We got some great things ahead of us, and we just got to keep pushing each other and motivating each other. And that's for everybody out there. We'll keep winning, brother. Let's do it.
Sounds good, Rob. Have a good weekend, brother, and have a good week. See you then.
Once again, that is Mr. Lee Ortiz of Climate Control Pros, online at climatecontrolprostx.com. Appreciate you, Lee, and have a great day, my friend. We'll talk to you next week. Hey, I wanted to mention, in fact, as far as we were talking about John Montgomery a while ago, I'm excited. We're getting a car wrap done tomorrow. And if you need a car wrap, if you need a vinyl wrap for your car, let me know. I can put you in touch with John over at Roberts Printing. It is John Montgomery, Roberts Printing. They do vehicle wraps. They are doing a really awesome vehicle wrap on my Kia tomorrow. And so you're going to see a little HRN car driving around town from here on out. And appreciate that opportunity and just really looking forward to getting that. Extremely reasonable, too, as far as the pricing goes. The quality of service, the printing, just unbelievable. Does it in-house, man, which is awesome. And so if you need a vehicle wrap to advertise your business, I tell you right now, and it's not cliche, there's no better time than right now to promote your business. You want to be on the top of the mind of people. If you've got a business, one way to do it is to wrap your vehicle. And Roberts Printing can do that for you. They can do it at a very affordable rate, and they'll take great care of you. Just a pillar in this community. John Montgomery over at Roberts Printing. Let me know if you need that, and I can put you in touch with John. Friends, want to remind you, as I end every broadcast, that we're not strong enough alone to make it on our own. We need each other. Provide a word of encouragement. Lend a hand of support. Somebody out there today needs you. It's been a pleasure as always. Thank you to head coach Rhonda Farney as well as Megan Herring, basketball player there, the junior at Georgetown High School. Appreciate both those ladies being with us on the show as well. Coming up tonight, 7 p.m., we'll have the HRN virtual dance party, but it's going to be a live edition. We'll be at Ken's Guitars with Ken and Jody. And so you'll want to make sure that you tune in to that, be a part of that program, as we'll be playing some live music. If you're on Facebook, it'll be a nice video production as well. We're going to bring our professional video equipment out there, and we're going to have a lot of fun tonight. Friends, love you. Hope you have a great rest of your Friday. As always, reach out to us. Let us know if you need anything. Make sure to follow us on Facebook or like us on Facebook. Also, make sure to like Hello Georgetown. Excited with that venture and able to expand that. A huge thank you to Ken and Ann Partain for the opportunity to build upon a great business that they set the foundation for. So John and I are excited to continue that. Reach out at any time. We're here for you. Love you, Georgetown. Have a great morning. We will see you tonight, 7 o'clock, for the HRN Virtual Dance Party. It's a live edition at Ken's Guitars. Good morning, Georgetown, and God bless you. Have a great day, everybody.